We open up a week from Friday. We're excited to get going, try to build on last year. We have 7 returning pitchers that threw quite a bit for us last year, and 7 returning position guys that played quite a bit for us last year. So we have a pretty good mix of new and old. Kind of exciting to see what some of our new guys can do once we get on the field and play. But we're excited to get going. Yes,
Hi, Cassie Logan, Shorthorn. I know your team was picked 6 in the Perfect Game preseason rankings. What do you think that says about your place in the conference, and how do you plan to improve that ranking?
Well, I mean, I don't think it means anything. We're in a new conference. We know it's going to be a tougher conference. Sun Belt had 4 teams go to regionals last year, and that's, I think it was the 6th best RPI baseball conference in the country. But we were also picked 6th last year in the WAC, and we won it. So, you know, just based on recent history, it really doesn't mean a lot. If you want to use it as motivation, that's fine. I'm not big into motivating guys that way. I'm assuming they want to win and prove people wrong. So, you know, I think 2 things. One, it doesn't mean anything, but at the same time, it's a tough conference, and we respect the other teams that have done it before in that conference, and we'll go see.
2 conference championships in 2 different conferences in a row. How do you look to go to get a 3rd? Are you guys confident to get it?
Well, we're confident, but we also know that this will be the toughest schedule we've played maybe in school history. I mean, it's definitely going to be the toughest conference we've been in. No disrespect to the South one and no disrespect to the WAC, because I thought they were very good baseball conferences, but you know, this will be the first time we've played in a conference that was a top 10 RPI low enough, top 6, you know, the year before. So we know it'll be tough. It's a goal. I mean, it'd be neat. You know, Christy talked about going day by day. You know, we're going weekend by weekend, you know, series after series after series, and we handled that last year. But there's a lot of things that go into winning. You know, you've got to catch some breaks. You've got to stay healthy. And for the most part, we did that last year. And for the most part, this year we're okay going in. But it's a long season. We play a lot of good people. But that's definitely something in the back of our mind.
Coach, last year after the Texas State loss and pool play, you said your team was the most overachieving team you had coached due to injuries, mishaps, and setbacks. What's your feeling about the team this year, and how do you plan to deal with any setbacks or mishaps?
Well, I don't think I'll be saying overachieving unless we win 50 games. I like our talent level. Last year, you name it, it went wrong as far as health. I mean, we had surgeries. We had, you know, you name it. We had 3 surgeries with pitchers. You know, we had one kid not come back till the middle of the season, and he wasn't exactly right. So, you know, all in all the things that, you know, that we know that happened, it was they overachieved like crazy. But this year, I feel good about going in. Like I said, if you can stay healthy, that's a big plus. But we also know it's a tough schedule, not just conference, but even our non-conference games. We're going to play Texas and A&M and Baylor a couple of times, TCU 3 times, Oklahoma a couple of times. That's not going to be. We got Oklahoma State. You know, we're playing everybody. So sometimes your overall record can be a little misleading on who you're playing, but I feel good about it going in.
Coach, is there one defining characteristic that separates this year's team from last year's team? Experience.
You know, we've got some guys back, including these 2 guys that have done it before. Last year we had a lot of new guys, and you know, I feel it's one thing to do it in practice. It's another thing to do it in inter squad. It's another thing to do it where you came from before you got here. But it's a completely different level when you have to do it in a game in the spring, and it elevates some people, and other people it doesn't. So I'm excited to get going. But these guys have done it. You know, we got a lot of guys that have been there and done that, and we're excited about getting back on the field.
Coach, who do you think your biggest competition will be, and how do you plan to win those games?
Biggest competition, that's a tough one. There's a lot of good teams that we're playing. As far as weekends go, you know, you just look at any of the teams that are picked above us in the Sun Belt. Obviously, they're thought well of by the so-called experts. So we're not going to have an easy weekend. But at the same time, last year, you know, we went into the last weekend of the year playing the second team that was second in the WAC. We had to go to their place at Sacramento State, and we had to sweep them to have a chance at winning the conference, and we did it. So, you know, if that's any indication, you know, we kind of rose up to the level of the competition, especially in conference play last year.
The softball team is holding meet and greets after games. Is the baseball team doing that as well?
That's a marketing thing. We just had a meeting on that, and they'll let us know. I'm sure we'll do we usually do, but as far as exact dates and when and how many times, I couldn't answer that right now.
Who are some of the new guys that you're looking to make big impacts this season?
Well, and it's not necessarily new guys. We've had to move some guys around. We lost our shortstop, Ryan Walker, who was a 3-year starter, to the Twins. And we've moved Sibley over there, and he was been our third baseman the last 2 years. And based on the fall and early spring, he's done great. We've got some new arms that I'm anxious to see get out there. The Jess Almendays, Tornbergs. We've got a local kid, Javier Pontifas from Arlington High. I'm excited about our new arms. We've got some, a good freshman class, and I know it's going to take a while for those guys to kind of fit in. Sometimes you have to learn by watching a little bit and then jump in there. But I would say overall, maybe mostly our new arms.
Coach, you said your talent level is a little bit higher this year than it has been in a while. Compared to like that 4 or 5 years ago, like, do you feel like it's growing every year?
I really do. I think we're getting some positive momentum. We've already mentioned we won the last Southland tournament, went 4-0. Couldn't have played any better. I think we were trailing 1 inning that whole tournament. And then we won 36 games that year. We won at Texas. We won at A&M. We won at Oklahoma. Had some other good wins. And then we lose a lot off of that team. We lost Preston Beck, who was the RBI record holder. We lost Lance Day, who was the wins record holder. So we lost our best pitcher, our best hitter. And so I was a little bit worried last year. And then we had injuries, but we still won. And based on that, there's some momentum there. And then when you've got the guys coming back that we have coming back, obviously the schedule's tougher. It's a lot tougher. I mean, it's just the conference part's tougher, not to mention our non-conference, which is usually good. But I feel like we're building some positive momentum. Facilities have helped with recruiting. We're just starting to see that affect our recruiting. This incoming class for next year that we announced this fall is one of our better ones. And I think just having the indoor facility helped with that. And then if you throw a clubhouse in there and offices out at the field, that facilities really help with recruiting. So I think winning and having some positive things going on as far as the draft, some pro guys, and then definitely facilities have helped build some of that momentum.
You guys play Texas A&M and Oklahoma at Rangers Ballpark in a week of each other. Even other non-conference games, how important do you think those games are? They're extremely important. When you're talking about getting an at-large bid to a regional, the more of those wins you have, the better. That helps your RPI. One team goes automatically, and that's the tournament winner for the Sun Belt tournament. But like I said last year, not only the Sun Belt tournament winner went, 3 other teams got in. And not only did they get in, 3 of the 4 teams that made regionals made the finals of regionals last year and came within a run or 2 or an inning or 2 of winning it and going on to super regionals. So those games, that's why we play them. We play them for 2 reasons. We play them for recruiting because, recruits want to go where they can play the best people. And we play it for RPI purposes. If you win those games like we did a couple of years ago, it really boosts your RPI and you have a chance at getting, and it's big for those guys too. Teams we're playing, it's a big RPI game.
Based off David's question, Brad and Matt, how does it feel to play 2 games at Rangers Ballpark to kind of get the professional experience while you're still at college?
Last year was the first time doing that, and I thought it was really amazing how many people came out to the game. It was great seeing, I don't know how many there were. It seemed like 10,000 for us. But it's great to be out there on the field and kind of get that experience and see the big field basically and see that's all of our goals really. Since we've all been little kids, so it's really fun to get out there and play in front of a bunch of people, and compete against some of the nation's top teams. So
yeah, same here. Hopefully I'll be throwing Fridays, and maybe since it's Tuesday games, I would like to throw out there. Maybe he'll let me. We'll see. But even just sitting in the bullpen and looking out at the field, it's just a cool experience, and you can kind of just imagine all those seats full. It's just it's exciting.
Coach, you've said that your team is going to be stronger defensively this year. Who do you think your biggest impact players will be?
Well, you always want to be good up the middle, and that was some of our question marks coming into the fall. Greg McCall's back as a starting catcher, so we're solid there, and we've got as good a catching class as a group as we've ever had. We've got 3 solid defenders back there. Darian McLemore played a majority of the time at second last year. He's back. We moved Travis Sibley to shortstop. He played phenomenal in the fall. And then we lost our center fielder. We had two senior center fielders last year. We moved Derek Miller over from left field to center field. He couldn't be playing any better defensively out there. So, you know, based on the fall and early spring inter squads, that part of it's been good. And you want to be strong up the middle. You want to be able to turn a double play to get you out of a jam. And I think we'll be able to do that.
Coach, with so many seniors on this year's team, just how high are the expectations for the season?
They're always big. I think we've raised the bar a little bit. You know, that was one thing we've talked about all year long, and that's our coach's job, coaching staff's biggest challenge is to just keep that bar up there and don't be satisfied with a mediocre practice or a mediocre performance. And you know, baseball, you play 56 games in 3 months, so you're playing a lot. You're playing 4, sometimes 5 games a week. You don't have a lot of time to think about it, but I'm hoping that the losses bother us more than they have in the past, and we've got a little higher goals, and it's not, like I said, it's not going to be easy by any means, and there's a lot of factors that go into it, but yeah, our expectations are up there, and I think we've got some guys that have been around, like Matt, that's been here and won a couple of championships in a row, been to a regional, won a regular season championship, and want to do a little more. You know, we want to win a regional and be within one step of being at Omaha.
Brad, you were the strikeout leader for the team last season and also one of the lowest batting averages or opponents' batting averages. How do you plan on jumping off of that into going into this season?
I mean, hopefully those 2 stats I can, you know, keep about where they were at. I just got to minimize walks, and I feel like that'll improve those even more. I'm usually a big control guy. I don't have some of the overpowering stuff that we'll see from some other bigger arms, but you know, usually I can spot up and mix a bunch of different pitches and throw strikes, and that'll be big for me. I plan on minimizing walks, and that'll just make all my stats better.
For both Brad and Matt, you guys had all-conference accolades last season, and Matt, you're now an All-American. Do you guys feel a sense of pressure going into this season with coming off of a great season last year?
Not really pressure. I mean, there's high expectations obviously for our team, and you know, individually there's also high expectations. But I mean, when you play with we have great talent this year, and it kind of takes, you know, like the pressure off you know, people that have been here before and have done well. I think we have a great lineup coming in and a great pitching staff. It's the whole fall and early this spring. It's been really competitive in all the scrimmages and inter squads, and you know, I think we're just really excited for the most part. Not really nervous about anything. Not really feeling any pressure. Just kind of anxious. Just ready to get out there and get going. I think, like the softball coach was saying earlier, we're tired of beating up on each other. We're ready to play somebody else.
Exactly. We're kind of, you know, hopefully no pressure, no added pressure on us. Hopefully, I mean, maybe it'll put some pressure on the people we're playing if they see those kind of, you know, they see an All-American walk up there. I mean, I don't really want to throw a shorty too often. But so really, hopefully it'll be a little bit of intimidation, and then with a better team and just better surrounding group, like surrounding players, as long as we're winning games, I mean, the extra awards and stuff doesn't really matter.
I talked to Coach Thomas last week and asked him after, you know, it's been a week and a half of inter squads now. Do you guys feel that you are ready for February 14th?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we've had the squads, and like Coach said, experience is a big thing for us this year. So many seniors come back, and last year had a lot of JUCO guys, and now they've had a year under their belt, and they know what to expect now. And I think that all of us are kind of, we're there physically and just kind of ready to get out there and get going.
Exactly. I mean, coming in, it's tough being a spring sport. Coming in the fall, you're back at school, you know, and then you have this, you start with your off season, and just the build up, the anticipation getting to February 14th is just astronomical.
And I'll say this about these 2 guys: they were, you know, obviously really good last year, but they're some of the hardest workers on our team, if not the hardest working pitcher, hardest working position guy, and that you're very lucky when that happens. That, you know, 2 of your better players are good leaders by example, and they do a great job with that. And success isn't easy. They've really worked for it, and you know, I expect them to have great senior years.
With someone like Michael Choice, who's now playing with the Rangers, and this is for the players, how does that motivate you?
You know, it's a big motivator. I mean, I had the opportunity to play Choice when I was like 16 years old, and to see him come all the way up and, you know, come to UTA and be a first-round pick. I mean, that's an incredible thing. just a person with that high of talent level and everything. And another thing is seeing a lot of the pro guys come back and practice in our facilities. It's really great to watch them and see how they work and see how meticulously they perfect their craft. And that's really interesting for us to see, and it's also a huge motivator because they were in our shoes at one point, and they were even when the facilities were not even close to what they are today. They they had the chain lockers and everything. So it's really neat to see somebody like Choice and the other guys come back and make it.
With you all being seniors and the other seniors on the team also, how do you plan on leading the younger guys?
Just lead by example. I mean, hopefully, if we're working hard, everybody else, they're trying to take our spot. I mean, it's friendly competition. I mean, we're all trying to get each other better. But if we're working hard, that means they're working hard because they're trying to get out on the field too. And so hopefully, we'll just lead by example.
Yeah, we had a talk the other day before one of our scrimmages, and we're kind of talking about standards. How we're setting it. The seniors that have been here are setting a standard for what our program is supposed to be, and basically what the entire athletics program is becoming more of a top tier program, championship program. And we were discussing things like how the guys that have been here for a while, we've built this, we've built the championships, and we put the championships and the names on the board and the hitting facility and all of that stuff. It's coming for and the young guys need to continue that path, so.
Matt, you've made it pretty clear how excited you are for this season. Just where does all that motivation really come from?
Oh, just senior year. I know we talked about this too. The last thing I want to do is have my last baseball game in Mobile, Alabama, for the conference tournament. Just really being motivated. I mean, nothing against staying on the field, Alabama. But I mean, just really motivated to have a great senior season. And you never know when it's your last game. I know that's kind of scary to say, but you never know when it's your last at bat, your last game, and that's just a huge motivator. And having played for a long time and coming to this final stage is just it's really scary, and it's also extremely exciting. So.
Brad, last year was your first year playing D1 ball. What did you learn from your experiences on the mound that will help you be successful this year?
Just learned. I mean, really, it's not all that different from any other game I've ever pitched. Coming in, I was real, kind of jittery, excited. D1, it's the top, it's, where you've been wanting to be your entire life. And so sometimes games got a little bit big for me, got a little trying to do too much, and really just got to, pitch like you have forever.
Coach, talk about Fuller Smith, bringing him on from Ole Miss. He's pretty familiar with the program.
That's a good one. Fuller was here in 2010, Michael's draft year, as our volunteer, and he played at Ole Miss, and they hired him right back as an ops guy, and then he was a volunteer assistant. So we're getting a guy that's been at a top conference in baseball for the last 4 years, 6 if you count his playing time, but we're also getting a guy that's been here and know how we do things, and very comfortable with him. He brings a lot of energy, a lot of passion, really wants to win, wants to do whatever it takes to coach guys and get them better. And that's the business we're in, is developing kids on and off the field and trying to win games. And he's a great addition for that.
Matt, if you were playing for your favorite baseball team, what would be your walk-up song?
Oh man,
That's a dangerous question.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
Keep it clean, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've really changed a lot of walkout songs. I guess right now I'd probably say Turnpike Troubadours, Long Hot Summer Day. That's probably gonna be mine this year. So, yeah.
All right, this question goes to both players. Being in your senior year, coming off the season when you won a share of the championship last year, do you feel like this is sort of like a championship or bust kind of season, though?
Yeah, I mean, it always is. There's plenty of things that can make this season successful, but we're never satisfied. I mean, we had a good season last year. Weren't satisfied with that. We weren't ready to be done at Quick Trip. But we always want more.
Yeah. I was here whenever we were at regionals, and we lost to Baylor in the regionals, and I know me and DT have talked about this a bunch, but it was the most sour feeling in the world, leaving regionals like that, because you make regionals and you get excited, but there's a lot more there. And yeah, it's not really a championship or bust season. I feel like a conference championship should be something that we should definitely shoot before, but we're shooting for something like much higher this year. we want to go to regionals and really make some noise and kind of put our program on the map, which it already is getting there. But we really want to get to that point where we're at super regionals and we're 2 wins away. And I mean, you look at the past. Actually, I remember I was looking this up last night, and we always talk about it. The Kent States, the Stony Brooks, and then Fresno State was the team that was in the WAC. And the reason why it hits closer to home about Fresno State is they ended up winning the championship. And they won the championship at La Tex Field in front of 800 people. And they were 4th in the conference going into the conference tournament. And they ended up running all the way and winning the College World Series. And that's the first time they've ever made it, and they ended up winning it. And there's no reason why our team couldn't be a team like that, a Cinderella team like a Stony Brook or Kent State or Fresno State. So,
Shorty, I know you've been asked this before, but you've been in a different conference every year. What has it been like to have that experience, unique experience that a lot of people don't get to have?
Yeah, it's been great. You get to go to a lot of fields and see a lot of teams and hear about how old you are a bunch. But no, it's been really cool. I got to, I played at a program at Tulane, which was a good program, and I got to see how they operate. And then coming here, I say it all the time, it was the best decision of my life to come here and to see all the different programs, to go play different teams, to see a ton of great players. I mean, I don't know, when I look back on it when I'm an old man and talking about glory days, I can probably talk about tons of major leaguers that I played against, playing in all the different conferences and all the different teams. So it's really interesting, it's really fun, and something I'll hold on to forever.
What are you going to try to do differently compared to other years?
Oh, man. Just set the bar. The bar is so much higher this year. Personally, I'm just trying to make sure that I do everything I can to make sure we win every game. We're shooting, for the regular season, we're shooting for 53, 56 and 0. And something like that. Hopefully we're going to play a lot more than that. But yeah, just working harder, setting the standard for the young guys, and just pushing it to the absolute limit.
Brad, have you been working on a particular pitch this offseason, or have you just been working on the whole repertoire?
Just perfecting the bunch that I've came in with. You can never be too good at what you already throw. So if I'm making those as good as I can, I'll be all right.
Matt, what do you got?
Oh, I'm just taking it.
Oh, okay.
Coach, you've been here since 2000, well, head coach since 2008. What would you say is the biggest change that you've seen in the program?
Well, the quality of our student athletes. We've recruited some pretty good students, and these 2 guys will graduate this year, and we've raised the bar there, and that's what you should do. That's one thing. Our facilities have gotten a lot better. The campus has changed dramatically since 2007, 2008. I feel like it's the best place to go. If you're a baseball player, man, why not play in Arlington? But it's still tough to recruit. And I just see a change in attitude and a change in the culture. And that's a tricky word, culture. What is culture? But the expectations as far as classroom stuff and getting your degree and GPA, those are there. And when you have good students like this, and they're the norm, then it doesn't take long for those other guys to figure out, well, I need to get in with the norm instead of the good student being the abnormal person. Like I said, the facilities, and we know they're getting better. We got more to come. It makes it fun, and there's a lot that goes into baseball. I mean, there's health and breaks and weather and umpires and travel and sickness and bad hops and you name it. That's what makes it fun, though. I mean, it's a little nerve-wracking at times as a coach because you really can't call a timeout like you can in basketball and football, and you can't put these guys in and take those guys out and then put them back in, because once you're out, you're out. A lot of it's just preparing them in practice and getting them on the field, and it's in their hands pretty much on game day. But we've won a lot, but at the same time, we haven't won enough, and I think we're ready to try to win some more. And if it doesn't happen, it just wasn't meant to be, but it won't be because the expectations weren't there and the work wasn't put in.
This is a question for both players. With being in your senior year, I know obviously you concentrate on the upcoming season, but has either your minds drifted towards what happens afterwards, majors?
I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it, but it's not the primary focus. If it happens, it happens. I'm more worried about this season. If it is my last one, making it the best it could possibly be.
Yeah, I think stuff like that works itself out, and I think it really works itself out with winning. You don't see a team that wins 10 games a season, get a bunch of guys drafted. But I mean, like Brad said, totally focused on the season and getting wins and making sure that, playing every game like it's your last, like for him pitching every game like it's his last, and being with, my teammates. And we have just an incredible staff this year, coaching staff, and just being with them every day and kind of focusing weekend to weekend, game to game, pitch to pitch.
Well, we talk a lot about the present and let the future take care of itself. We've had just as many pro guys as anybody has, but we don't really talk about it very much. I want them to focus on what they're doing, and I know they're thinking about that. That's a great question. And they're thinking about their degree and where am I going to work. I want these guys, whether they're a freshman or a fifth-year senior or somewhere in between, to realize what they're doing is a big deal. It's a privilege to be at a place like this, to be around a group of 35 guys, to travel like we get to travel, and not ever take it for granted. We're all lucky to be able to do this, and I don't want ever any of our coaches or any of our players to take it for granted and think, man, somebody owes me this. Man, we're fortunate. I'm fortunate to be able to do what we do and never take it for granted. And like he said, winning makes it's never fun to lose. And you got a bunch of competitors, and that's some long bus trips home. Fortunately, last year, we won a lot on the road. I think we went 11-5 in conference and road. So our trips home weren't too bad. But that was some long plane rides if we would have lost. We had one long one, but we got over it. But the biggest thing is I want these guys to focus on today and this season and have good team chemistry and get along with each other and pull for each other. And man, that future just takes care of itself because you take care of what's going on today.
This is for the players. Who's the biggest trash talker out in the field?
Trash talker. I don't know if it's necessarily like trash talking, but having a certain swagger about you, I guess, can lead to. I don't really know. I don't. There's not a lot of trash talking involved. I guess there's just. I don't really know how to answer that question.
The biggest mouth in the clubhouse.
Mouth in the clubhouse. I guess say me, but I'm not gonna say I'm a trash talker. Yeah, but I would say I'm probably the loudest guy on the team. I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
I think that's one of my biggest faults is letting these guys be themselves. Sometimes when they're themselves, it drives me crazy. But I'm getting old. But I'm starting to get with it a little bit. Let them have their own personalities. I'm gonna learn from Pete Carroll. That was his biggest strength is, man, let these guys have their own personalities and I've got kids at home and they're always saying, man, you're too hard on them. Well, leave them alone. They're good people. So, they don't really get to talk a lot of trash, but I'm sure they do when I'm not around.
Here's something for you. Have y'all made any changes that will affect the play of the game as far as an outfield wall? I mean, like last year it's Cal State with the ball. Is a new outfield
Well, you just had to bring that up, didn't you?
I mean, no.
It worked out, though.
Well, I heard that, yeah, it worked out. I mean, I heard like the rumors of the new outfield fence going in. Will that be in place this
That's a
year?
good question. We've got a new fence going in right now. The other one was 11 years old and it was rotten out and it was needed. We got a great sound system going in. I was there when they did the test run. It's a professional sound system. It should be in, and then they've added a little picnic area. I don't know what you call it, picnic area, whatever you want to call it, over by the visitors' dugout, and that's all going in right now. So hopefully, with the weather, it's all done by a week from Friday. And I said in our last meeting, I've seen a forecast for next Thursday. I haven't seen one for next Friday, which is our first game. But for next Thursday, it said 70 degrees. So maybe we're going to get lucky.
And lastly, being here so many years now, what kind of personal joy or satisfaction do you get out of seeing the guys being drafted, and then not only that, but going through the ranks of Varner, Choice, Baucom, and those guys, or like a Nate Long? Do you get some personal satisfaction out of that, as knowing that you helped in their development?
Absolutely, and it's not so much. I've never, you watch a game and you get the text, hey, I'm getting called up to the big leagues, and then you flip on the TV and there they are. And I can honestly say, I never once said, man, I helped that guy get to the big. But you're happy for them, you're happy for their family, and you're happy for your program, because all we do is recruit and all we do is sell this place and sell this program. And to me, it's a no-brainer. Hey, let's go, come on. But it's hard to talk kids in. They have other choices. And to me, that just kind of adds to it that, heck, 9 of our last 27 draft picks have played in the big leagues. That's a big deal. when the average for Division I is 13%. We're at 33%. To me, that means, hey, they need to draft more of our guys, give more of our guys a chance. And when they make it, you know, I've called a few of them in and go, you'll make more money signing your name than I'll ever make in my whole life. And they just look at me like I'm an old man, and I'm like, it's the truth. You know, don't take it for granted. And when you see that, you're like, well, you know, that's great. And some of these guys that have signed big contracts, and what you do is you start talking about when they were here, and man, did you ever think that guy'd make it? And this guy, you know, there's a lot that goes into it, and it is very rewarding. But you're just happy for them, you know, and you're happy for your program. The coach, I don't think we got a coach here that goes, man, I'm happy for myself, because there's not a recruit out there that goes, I'm going to go to UTA because Coach Thomas develops pro players. They're going to go, I'm going to go to UTA maybe because they have some guys that have made it.
What's the team that you think is going to be the most challenging for y'all to play against?
Conference or non-conference?
I'll say conference.
You say conference? I would say Louisiana Lafayette. They're picked to win it. They were in the finals of the regional at Baton Rouge last year. They took LSU to the IF game, and they led the nation in home runs last year as a team, and they've got every position guy back. So luckily we play them at home when we do play them in April, but they're picked by everybody. They're a top 25 team, you know, in every poll just about. They're going to be very challenging.
Coach, you have 31 players that are from Texas, a state that is primarily a football state. Is the landscape changing?
No, it's a baseball state too, because of the weather. It is, trust me, I got 2 younger boys, and that's all they do is play, and it drains our pocketbook. But it is we're very fortunate to be here, and that's what's neat about coaching here. We're in the middle of the Metroplex, and the key to recruiting is seeing somebody play more than once. You know, you can catch them on a good day, and if you only see them once, you may not know what you're getting. And it's easy for kids and their parents to drop in here and visit. It's easy for us, within an hour, we can see a bunch of players. And also with how our scholarships are chopped up, you can get more out of your money if you get an in-state kid. And if you get that same kid out of state, it costs a bigger percentage. So we're very fortunate to be not only in the Metroplex, but in the state of Texas.
Is Arlington a baseball town?
I would like to say so, but that's a good question. I think so. We think it is, you know. But I'm a big Cowboys fan too, so.
This question's for Matt. We've heard a lot about how talented the new freshman class is. What's something that sets them apart from any of the freshman classes that you've seen here at UTA?
You know, I feel like they have really strong minds about them. Mentally, they're a lot stronger than a lot of freshman classes I've seen, and they really latched onto our philosophy here. Yeah, I can't say enough about how you like Coach says all the time. Once you're in for a semester, you're no longer a freshman, and I mean, I kind of felt that way with them after a couple weeks. They really latched on to how we do things here, and done exactly what they need to do, and really became part of our philosophy.
Anything else?
With all the replay and challenging changes in the major, we're not going to see that translate down to the college game?
Well, I don't think it will in the future. I haven't had time to think about what I think of the big league challenges, but you'd have to have so much technology on campus as far as filming and different things. But a lot of those rules do, within a year or two, get passed down to us. Base coaches wearing helmets. I know one change we'll have next year is they're trying to get more offense now that they've changed the bats. They're going to change the ball. They're not going to change the bats back. We use BB Core bats have dropped the offense in Division I baseball quite a bit since they've come out 3 or 4 years ago. So one of the changes we're going to next year, not this year, is more of a professional baseball that's a little harder, lower seams. But as far as the replay, I shouldn't say it isn't going to come, because there's a lot of things I didn't think would ever come, and they have. But you would have to have the technology to make it go.
This is for anybody. Why should the average UTA student, maybe one who's not interested in sports, come out and see you guys?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I'd say, I think that our program is really leading the athletic program in the direction that we're going. The school's put so much money and so much emphasis on you know, building this athletic program with the CPC, and now our facilities are really stepping up. And you know, I think that we're really leading the charge in winning championships and becoming a program where when UTA is on the schedule, the other team needs to watch out. You know, and that's a really exciting thing to watch, and to watch how much we've grown over the years. I think that everybody should want to be a part of that.
I'm not going to say we're leading the athletic department in anything, but I'll back off of that statement a little bit. But what I will say is we always play a great schedule, and I always put myself in the student's shoes and in the general public's shoes of why would I want to go out there? You know, and I'm not I got a marketing degree, but I'm not in marketing here. But, you know, so we always play as good a people as we can. A&M, Baylor, TCU, you know, as many Oklahoma, and we're fortunate that we're getting those Big 12 schools to come here and play. Now Mr. Baker has added that experience to, hey, just drive 5 minutes down the road and you can watch it at a major league ballpark. You know, once your team knock off one of those schools. And that was what was fun about a couple of years ago was, you know, we won 6 of those games. We won 6 and lost 2, I think, in midweek games. But I would say our schedule, we play really good people. It's cheap. You can get right there by the field. You can get autographs. You can do whatever you want within reason. But the foul balls are free. You know, to me, it's a no-brainer. But I'm not I'm not a student anymore. But hopefully that attracts some people. And I know weather factors in there. If it's a nice day and I can go and it's cheap and, you know, get behind my school a little bit. And we need to do more. We need to do more things to get students to come. You know, even as a baseball team. So if you have any ideas, let us know.
Is there anything you want to change about the program, or you want to keep it 100% the same?
Oh, you always want to change. You always want to get better, and because I've been here 14 years, and I can't begin to tell you how much other programs have changed and how much college baseball has changed since 2000, since 2006, even since 2008. The competition is just in this general area. If you go over to Dallas Baptist, you go over to TCU, what they've done with their facilities in the last 4 or 5 years. Schools, when we're in the Southland, how much emphasis they're putting on baseball. I would have never thought we'd be taking 3 or 4 flights a year flying to conference games, conference weekends. You know, if you'd have told me we're flying home from San Francisco from a conference weekend 5 years ago, I told you you're crazy. But you know, there we were at the Fisherman's Wharf waiting on the plane. You know, but we're always changing, and that's what makes it fun. You got to keep up. You got to just keep up, and it's so much competition that if you don't change, you're going to get behind. And that's what we're starting to do with facilities. And we're not there yet. You know, we're going to get a clubhouse and offices and get all our stuff at the field. Most people don't know we've never had a locker room at the field ever. We've had to drive back and forth, and there's a lot of high school programs that don't even have that problem. But like Shorty said, it doesn't keep us from winning. Now it may keep us from getting players to come here initially, but once they get here, they do just fine. It's just part of the routine. But boy, how nice would it be to have everything at the field, and especially to be able to walk recruits through something really nice and say this is where you're going to play. Then after that, I know they want to do some stadium things and. You're constant, but as far as our general things that we, you know, no, there's not a lot I'd change as far as, hey, here's how strict we're going to be, and here's what we want our guys to go to class, and we want our guys to graduate, and we want them to act right. Those things will never change, you know, unless they get another coach, and then they might. But as long as I'm here, I can't change in that aspect. But you're always, as a coach, you're always trying to get better, and I'm learning from other schools. I'm learning from other coaches. When we play somebody and they do something, I'm like, man, we ought to try that. It's a good thing I'm not a football coach. I would stay up all night watching video of NFL and college games going, all right, we need to run that play. So we're going to put that in at practice tomorrow. Luckily, we don't have a lot of that in baseball, so it's probably a good thing.
This is for the players. Any game day superstitions?
I like a good nap before.
Who doesn't?
Other than that, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, when we're at home, we usually go to Coach Gould, who our field's named after. His mom owns a sandwich shop called Boo Boo's, and we go there and have sandwiches and stuff, and I love doing that. And yeah, basically just have that and listen to some slow jams.
Okay, guys, I think, is that Good for everyone? Thanks, guys.
Don't forget your phones.